Hello and welcome to the Property Management Show. I'm your host, Alex Osenenko. My day job is the CEO of 4.5, a marketing company that works exclusively with fee-based property management companies. I spent the last 7 years of my life helping property management companies become more successful by improving sales, marketing, and operational efficiency. On this show, we'll deconstruct success into its key components and invite subject matter experts to help you improve every facet of your business. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show. Hey guys, thank you for tuning in. The topic today is going to be how to sell property management services by building a powerful referral network. Okay, and I have a guest here who's going to be able to speak very intelligently on this subject because he is the master networker, I would say. He's a personal friend as well, runs a very successful business. We'll ask him about the sort of progression of his business. His name is Joe Stokley. Hey, Joe.
Hi, Alex, and I'll try to speak intelligently to you and the audience.
Yeah, well, I think this is going to be a sort of easy exercise for you. But so, Joe, give us So I didn't give you a really true, well put together introduction. So if you don't mind, can you kind of give us your story real quick? Kind of how you got into property management and where you are today compared to where you were when you started.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. I'll make it brief and I think explain it pretty well intelligently. Probably for the past 20 years, my wife and I have been real estate investors ourselves. Years and years ago, I caught the bug about buying properties and building wealth through real estate, and I'm happy to say we've been pretty successful at it. Had our ups and downs, and learned how to do it right. I was working for a large real estate investment company back in the 2000s. Our specialty was tenant in common office buildings and shopping centers. The recession hit and that went belly up. And then I'm like, okay, now what are we going to do? So in the height of the recession, 2009, we decided, hey, let's start a business. And
great idea.
Yeah, great idea. With all of our properties that we had, all of our own rental properties, they were facing foreclosure and just all kinds of horrible things. So we learned how to do loan modifications and restructure and to negotiate with the banks to fix our own personal portfolio up. So happily to say we got that under control. And at the same time, we started a property management company. We said, hey, look, what are we good at? We're good at managing our properties. And let's give it a shot. So seriously, my wife and I, my business partner, we started our business in our garage, and you've been there, Alex. Mm-hmm. So we started at home, keep our overhead down, and I employed a lot of the techniques that I learned from my previous career in advertising sales and took that into the real estate industry with property management. So I just went out and networked with the movers and shakers in the world because I didn't personally know lots of people who owned rental properties that I can go and say, hey, would you like me to manage them? So I went out to other people that had clients that did, and that's kind of how it started.
That's pretty awesome. So give us an idea of the scale and the growth of your organization. So we started, how many properties? Like the time you took in the first fee-based management, and to date, how many properties you manage now? Give us a scope.
Okay, fair question. So we started our business just about 7 years ago today. We started, I think, in April of 2009, and we started, our best client was ourselves. We had our own properties that we were managing, but probably the first client that we brought on board, his name was Matt Lovett, and it probably was about a month after getting out there and
putting a shingle up.
Yes, yeah, and saying, hey, we're open for business. This is what we do.
And where are you now?
We are just a little shy of 500 properties today.
And 500 properties in sort of a Silicon Valley is potentially revenue-wise usually, sometimes equals, triple that in sort of middle of the country, as our rents here are, crazy hence the fees are a little bit higher, right?
We have not raised our fees in years. Our profit margins increased because of the crazy rents. I don't think it'd be fair to really raise our fees because we're earning more money for the same
Sure.
property as it turns over. The rents do increase. So, but you know, it's what the market bears, and we wouldn't place a person on a property unless they could afford to live there. So the rents that we're charging, I feel I sleep good at night, knowing that's the market. My job is to get the highest rents for my clients, and we wouldn't place anybody to live there if they couldn't afford to live there.
Gotcha. So Joe and I will get into this discussion right now on how to build a referral network. As I said, I think Joe is a master networker, and I've known him for years, and he does some phenomenal work within his local sort of city organizations as well as outside. We had a few episodes ago, we had a conversation with Douglas Skipworth. You know Douglas, right? You guys are
great guy.
Became friends,
Yeah, Memphis.
Yeah, Memphis, Mr. Memphis. Yeah, you're Mr. Walnut Creek.
Thank you.
But yeah, so Mr. Memphis was talking about how to build investor-focused seminars, right? That's what we talked about. So what Joe and I are going to talk about is how to kind of position your referral network. So investor seminars is a great way to get leads, but what about all these existing sort of networks where you can participate, become the go-to person, and start getting phone calls and emails from owners who have heard of you from there. But before we get into the specifics here, I want to talk about two of my sponsors. The first sponsor is NARPM, which is National Association of Residential Property Managers. I'm going to talk about their designations and why you should consider one later into this episode. And the second sponsor is the PM Grow Summit. You know, this is the sort of association and a conference for the growth-minded property management entrepreneurs. And I'll talk about the PM Grow, and I'll give you guys a quick sneak preview on the dates and the location of the next event, which Birdie just told me via email. We might have sort of a lock on that venue. But anyway, let's get into the topic. So Joe, first question. When you just put up your shingle 7 years ago and you had that first client, how networked were you, and how can you walk us through the developing of those relationships, and where did you start? I mean, how do you get started?
Let's see. So before I met you, Alex, and I got to say to the listening audience, Alex's team has been absolutely wonderful with helping us grow our business. So in addition to what I've done, you know, on my own and our marketing plans, 4.5 has equally been super involved in making that happen. So you know, you gotta do all these things, I think, to have success. What I did was I first got involved with a B&I group.
And B&I is what? How do you?
Business Networking International.
Gotcha.
I never heard of them before until like a friend of mine approached me. So they were starting up a new, what do you call it? A new chapter. Yeah. And anyway, so I got there, met great people, and I'm still friends with today. You know, and there's different people from different industries, and their thing is like, hey, one professional from each industry is represented. So I was the property manager, and they had another person who was like a realtor, and they had a lawyer. Anyway, and that helped. They started building contacts that way and bringing in business with that. But it was very limited for my needs. Only having like one realtor in the group or a lawyer, and maybe they just worked on living trust or whatever, you know, patent attorney. I don't know exactly what they did. But what I did is I migrated from there and got involved with the Contra Costa Association of Realtors and an affiliate group they have, which is called the CCRIM. It's the Contra Costa Real Estate in Motion. And what it basically was another networking group that met on Tuesday mornings.
Thank you.
And it would have about 150 real estate professionals there. And that was really my niche. Rather than a small B&I group where there was, you know, one realtor, now I'm in front of like, you know, 75 realtors and loan agents and different people from that industry that I could get involved with and let them know, you know, that we were here to help them. You know, I was the only property manager there. Everybody else was like a realtor or a loan agent.
So how much time, Joe, so let's just shift to this new Realtor Association. How much time did you find yourself spending there? Because obviously back then it's you and Sheila running the business, right? So, I mean, you had to be outside the office to do these things. So what sort of a time commitment are we talking about?
You know, it wasn't a huge time commitment, but I found I just took my experience from other organizations and things that I got involved with in past business. getting involved with Chamber of Commerce's or different local organizations. You just can't show up to the meeting and sit at the table and expect business to come.
Sure.
So I had to jump into it, and I was asked to become on the board of directors, which eventually I became the president after a couple of years. And you ran the meetings, so it was a great forum. I'm up there in front of 150 people every week. They know who I am, and they got to see what kind of person I was. Hopefully they saw as a good person to work with,
Right.
and that's really where it took off as far as meeting all these professionals and being the go-to guy when there was a need for property management.
So specifically, Joe, now I'm gonna go into the specifics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious as how. So clearly, what you're saying is putting yourself in a position of leadership, contributing your time on a volunteer basis. It's a two-way street, right? You do something for nothing, people reciprocate, they'll bring you referrals, they trust you to see who you are. But how do you edge yourself in that leadership position? Well, I mean, let's say you join the group. What happens? How do you become how do you get on the board?
Again, you can't, if you sit back and expect it to come to you, it's probably not going to happen, or it's going to be very slow. And I've seen the people that I get advice to how to be proactive and get something out of it. If they don't do those things, they get discouraged and they drop out. Like, hey, it's not coming, it's not happening. I'm saying, okay, what I did is they have sponsorships. All right, so I jumped on board. I mean, I'm going this thing every week. I got to be there every week. I'm sitting at different tables, talking and meeting different people. I got out of my little comfort zone, not always talking to the same folks. And then we sponsored, I don't know what it was, the breakfast or the month or whatever. And then you get up and give a presentation, So I had like an infomercial opportunity to get up and give my spiel. And just, it wasn't very long.
Do you remember how long was it?
How long my spiel was?
Yeah,
I think they gave me like 10 minutes, which is a long time really to get up and talk about your company.
Did you have sort of were you like worried with, because you just started the business back then, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, how many years were you in the business when you did that sort of first spiel?
Maybe not even a year. Maybe
okay.
not even a year.
So you're fresh, you're presuming to teach other people about your sort of trade. And how did you have any kind of anything that you remember that was really useful in that presentation that made it worthwhile for you?
Well, what I think is, we were. Well, I look at myself as an educator, okay, and a lot of realtors, okay, they don't want to deal with property management. They want to list houses, okay, and so a lot of people I met, they go, I don't want to do that, I don't want to specialize that. And a lot of the real estate brokerage companies out here, they don't want their people to be dealing with property management. So I was like a new resource that they never really encountered or knew anything about. So I was coming to them from my perspective with new information that they never knew existed or how it worked. So I believe just being there and sharing with the group was really beneficial to not only me but to them, because I was like, wow, I didn't know that you can do that. Wow, wonderful. I got clients that maybe one day they want to sell their house. They're just not ready for whatever reason right now, and they're moving to wherever, New York, and they want to rent their house out. Joe, can I introduce them to you? And what my guarantee to the real estate community that I work with is like, hey, you'll never find me stealing your clients. If you refer one of your clients to me and we lease and manage their home for a year, 3 years, 5 years, whatever, and it come time they want to sell it, you're not gonna find my sign in front of their front yard. I can't force them to go back to you, the realtor, but I'm definitely going to give you a heads up and let you know about it.
All right, that makes sense. So in that presentation, you basically summarized the advantages of having a partner like yourself on their side to manage properties, still maintain the possibility of getting a listing, getting a relationship. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so that went, and then so how do you go from being a sponsor to a position of leadership?
Well, what was nice was I was approached, I was asked to get involved. I guess they thought that I would do a good job leading the group, the meetings every week. You're like an MC, and I enjoy getting in front of people. I'm not shy, so I liked it. That was fun. So I guess they saw like, hey, Joe would be good for our organization. If you're not approached, you don't have to sit around and wait for somebody to come up to you. Every year, this particular organization would have elections, and there's candidates that run for those positions, and they have a vote. So a lot of people get to those positions because they run for those offices. They have secretary, treasurer, chairman of sponsorships, vice president, president. Different positions like that. It's run like a true board.
Just like a NARPM, Cal NARPM. I'm on a Cal NARPM board. It's very similar.
Exactly, it's same thing. Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Very similar, and that's sort of that may be the advice that you and I will share on this one, because in NARPM is my organization. These are my tribe, my people. And the Cal NARPM, 5 years ago, I joined the board, and it was a very kind of similar way. Few people are willing to put the preparation and effort into, giving everything you got into all these presentations and all these meetings, and as you said, you're trying to, talk to people and being friendly with everybody, not being stuck in your clique. Not being cliquey, going around and really be friendly and open to other people. And you don't have to be a type A for that. I think type A will help, but I think even being a type B person, meaning like you're more sort of introvert, I think, again, it's going to be helpful if you just ask questions and listen to people and you go outside of your comfort zone. But also, when you have a chance to give a presentation, doing it on the fly or not preparing, not overthink, not like it's just no excuse for that. And people like that don't ever get asked. Like, as if you're doing a half-assed job, and anything, right?
Right.
Just nobody. There's plenty of the half-asses out there, right?
Yeah,
Nobody needs them.
You got to prepare. You got to practice.
Got to be prepared.
Yeah, you got to be prepared, and it shows. I mean, and you know who knows more than anybody is the guy up there doing the speech. If they're not prepared, and they don't feel confident about it, they're the first ones to know it, and everybody else can see it too. So, and I don't want to say it was like a great deal of preparation. I'd always be prepared. I knew what I was going to do. I never wing it. So yeah, people, this is serious. I mean, people's their livelihoods, their professions are there, and it's an organization. I think it's been around for like 40 or 50 years. So they
is this
run
nationwide, Joe, or is it?
No, this is every.
So it's uniquely stuck to this county.
It's unique to here, but I think there's a lot of different groups, chapters, not chapters, but groups like this across the whole United States. I think a lot of areas have a board of realtors, okay, and then out of that, people have their own networking groups that grow from that. Okay, so it's not something like NARPM that it's that organized. This is specific to Walnut Creek. There's also one down in San Ramon. I think there's one in Oakland, and they're not affiliated with one another. And it just kind of it starts and it grows, and some areas have it and some don't. This particular group that I'm involved with is one of the largest ones in the whole East Bay. So we get people from far and wide that come to these meetings. Mostly the people that are there are, focused on that particular that business area. But we get people from like Livermore or Oakland or Benicia or whatever that come that have a property they want to talk about.
Gotcha, Joe. So your advice to people who are, let's say, sitting in Memphis, let's say Douglas
Yeah.
Skipworth, he listens to this. Hey, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
He said he listens to the podcast all the time. But so he's sitting there in Memphis. How would he go about building? Because he's good at investor presentations, but how would he go about building a realtor network? So you say go to the board of the realtors, look, and then see what kind of sprouted from there.
Yeah, I think the board of realtors. Let's call it the Memphis board of realtors. They may have their own networking group, okay, that goes on tours and sees houses every Tuesday morning or whatever, or they can refer you to an existing group that is thriving, a network group, okay, and I'm sure they would point you in the right direction. If they didn't have one for themselves, they would know of one. And that's where I'd go. It's like if you're going to rob a bank, okay, go to the bank that has the money in it. All right, so you're going to go to the organization where there's all these real estate professionals that have the contacts and the clients that need your services.
Gotcha. So now let's I have a couple of money questions. Not necessarily money, but money in the sense of they're important. How much time did you invest? Let's say, how much time have you invested? Like, be honest with yourself and just maybe think this through a little bit. Take an average month. You still part of that realtor organization now?
Yeah, I'm not on the board anymore, but I'm an annual sponsor, and that's about $3,000. I'm an annual sponsor, and I would have gone to the meeting today, but instead I'm here with you.
Wow,
I got, it's a pleasure. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, so how much time? I try to make them every week, and it's about 2 hours out of my day on a Tuesday. When I was,
what do we call that for 8 hours a month?
yeah, or two. There's a couple weeks they don't do that around Christmas, so about 100 hours a year. It's 50 weeks a year, 48 weeks a year, about 100 hours a year.
And $3,000.
And $3,000 to be an annual sponsor. When I was on the board of directors for 3 years, you'd add another. You have once a month, probably a 2-hour board meeting, and then different functions and stuff like that. But definitely 100 hours a year, I would say.
Okay, so let's see if this makes or breaks things. What do you think you got here in terms of business? What would you say number of properties? Like if you had to estimate and have a good sort of a gut feel level estimate of what you've gotten out of it.
I'd say to be fair, I'd say probably about a third of our business.
Jesus.
Or is well, seriously, I would say it's
So let's say 200 properties, or
yeah.
somewhere around there,
Yeah,
180.
Well, what's funny is I got people that call me, and there's people. Maybe if I saw their face, I'd connect it, but I don't know everybody's name or complete name. I know their face, and people go, "Hey, it's John Smith, Joe. I met you once or twice from the organization. I got a client, so I mean, I might have met somebody 6 months ago, 2 years ago, yesterday, and they'll connect me with their people." And it's huge.
You will lock it in eventually. But so I just want to qualify this. How many years you've been? Because look, by the way, we haven't talked about this, and I just pulled out the calculator. So we're gonna, I'm a really sort of a math and unit economics kind of guy. Mm-hmm. I want to figure out your acquisition cost on these guys. Mm-hmm. All right. So how many properties would you say? So a third of your business. What would you peg it at?
As far as what, revenue?
Yeah, no, number of units.
Okay. Say, well, and you have turnover and everything, but I'd say if you looked at a snapshot of the amount of properties we have right now, so let's just say 150.
150. Okay, mm-hmm. So we'll take 150. How many years have you been a part of this organization?
6.
6 years. So you averaged out about 25 properties. A year, mm-hmm. over your 6-year investment. Mm-hmm. So 25 properties a year. What is your annual contract value? What's your average fee?
Gotcha. As far as like
just monthly fee. What is your average
if you put a dollar amount to lease in the property, about $4,000 a property.
Okay, so $4,000 per year.
Yeah.
In revenue. Okay,
yeah.
So you basically made $100,000 per year each year in revenue from spending 100 hours and $3,000. So in my opinion, the way that my math works, and that's just an annual value, because in a lifetime value, that's closer to 800,000.
Oh yeah, right. In 1 year, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm probably lowballing that. I'd rather go low than high.
Sure.
But no, it's been a very healthy.
Look, if the math wouldn't work out, I'd still publish this.
Oh, that's thank you. No, it's working.
Hey, I want to get to the bottom of this.
That's
incredible. So you're adding $100,000 in annual revenue, plus that recurs. It's a recurring stream. So let me, kind of put a stop to this one right now. If you're thinking 100K for 100 hours is not a good return, let me see. So divided by that, that's $1,000 an hour. How much is your lawyer getting paid?
Right. Yeah, well, that's a lot of money. No, it's like an annuity. It keeps coming back and pays itself. And as time goes on, you lose a few of those properties because, of course, for whatever the people's situation is, some people decide, hey, it's a good time to sell.
Sure.
All right. And then I got a lot of great success stories from the realtors who are happy to continue working with us because their clients that they refer to us for property management, they over time got those, listed them, sold them, they give us more property. So I'm happy to say we have a very good reputation. It's
a community, you have to.
Yeah, well, they'll know, the word gets around there pretty quick. Either you have a good reputation or a bad reputation. So far, so good.
Okay. So I think, let me summarize this advice, and I'll talk about my first sponsor, and then we'll dig into some more stuff. The summary is find a realtor association that is fairly sizable. Become a sponsor, do a presentation, get to know folks, be at a different table every meeting, be communicative. You don't have to be, type A and blah, blah, but just be friendly and ask people, talk to people. And then see if you can get in a position of leadership, like a board, so really everybody knows and respects you. Put a lot of work to it. Just make this count. Don't make it as a sort of I'm also there, and
No, but you're not going to get the
commit.
results. I mean, it's really. I believe that I'm like the authority, okay, in that area. Other property managers have come and gone from these meetings. I mean, I see them once and they never come back. I go, they're not going to get a lot of success out of that. So I think the people, if you dive in and take it seriously and get involved, the other people, they know who's involved and who's hustling and who's not. I think it translates into the kind of business and service you're going to give your clients.
If you want to bring $500,000 in lifetime value, in lifetime revenue for the customers by associating yourself, you got to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And so Joe's done it right. I think that is a pretty good formula. So this gives me a chance to talk a little bit about my first sponsor, which is NARPM. Many of you guys know them. Some of you don't. So let me explain what NARPM is. It's a National Association of Residential Property Managers. It's probably one of the best organizations in the world, considering it's a nonprofit and amount of work it's done to further the industry and the cause of professional property management. And the purpose of them, they provide resources for residential property management professionals who desire to learn, grow, and build relationships. And specifically what I want to talk about, Joe, I want to talk about RMP and NPM designations. A lot of people know about this, but again, many people are just kind of not really getting, and I'm really surprised you have this very specific industry-related education plan proven coursework that will really sort of position you into understanding your business better, your multiple revenue streams, all these things that other people know and have learned, and now they're going to teach you. Why not do it? I mean, if I was a property manager, I would be striving for RMP and NPM. And by the way, RMP is Residential Management Professional. That's the first designation. And NPM is a Master Property Manager. And I'll tell you what, I met a lot of NPMs. Okay, all of them were extremely successful. Let me just throw some names: Chris Hermansky, Bob Machado, Andy Probst, Christina Rowick, Steve Schultz, many, many more. So, guys, if you are looking to further your business, take the time, go to NARPM.com, NARPM.com, NARPM.org, hover over education, and look at the designation NPM or RMP. Your name should be there if you want to grow your business. You get coaching, you discover new revenue streams, you build a support network, and you build deep friendships. So that is my advice. All right, Joe. So let's move. Are you thinking about NPM here?
I am. Well, I'm a member of NARPM, and I think you and I met each other long before NARPM. Okay, so yeah. Anyway, so no NARPM. I'm getting ready. I'm turning in my paperwork for my first designation.
You are?
Yeah. I got to get that one before I get the second one.
The RMP, right?
Yes. So I'm doing that, and everything that Alex is saying is absolutely true. We've really wrapped our arms around NARPM. I believe they're another big reason why we're having success. Great group of people. We've met people that are our friends from across this United States. And they're really giving. I mean, you can go out and do it on your own and learn more through trial and error, or you can meet the professionals that have done it and they're willing to share, which is great. Everybody's there to help each other to make this profession more professional and better. Yeah.
Well, one of the things is, Joe, I find that it's very lonely at the top. Like, you can't complain downwards, right?
Nobody cares.
I mean, if you start making your employees into your sort of lightning rods, your business will fall apart. You can't complain downwards. All the complaints bubble up to you. You got to be the decision maker. You got to be the rock that your people expect you to be. But even the rocks need a bit of support, right? So this is where the NARPM comes in, right?
Well, you're talking to other people, your peers, your true peers. Your employees aren't your peers; they're your employees. You're dealing with other businessmen and women that own businesses that have the same. You could be talking to somebody in Memphis, like Douglas, or somebody in Long Beach or Atlanta, and they all have the same stories and the same problems and solutions. And it's really cool. It's a good time. Sheila and I, we've always attend the California conference. We've gone to the Growth Summit. We try to go to as many things as possible because we always learn something. It's always something we can bring back and utilize and put to action in our business.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. So let's shift gears, Joe. I want to. So first of all, I'm fascinated by the way you sort of approach growth and let's face it, like, you are not the sort of a digital millennial guy that has the Twitter account and you're like tweeting all the time, or you're Snapchatting or anything like that.
No.
Yet you're able to like navigate your business in the world of digital, as well as like really focusing on what needs to be done. What is your responsibility at Stokley Properties? Like, what do you consider yourself as?
Well, I think I'm like the head cheerleader as far as all the people that work with us. They all do bring in business, but I'm probably the top salesman or whatever. And I do have a business development person as well. And generally, what I do is I might be the first contact and talk and a broad overview as far as the services we provide, and then I will turn that over. Okay, and I think it's great. I think people like to speak to the owner or the broker or the founder or whatever. Like, oh, I got to talk. At least I have some type of relationship with the boss, and then they can work with the other people. Moving forward from there. I also am the head problem solver. So it works up the ranks, and I don't have a problem with it. It's great. I mean, by the time if it gets to me, it's a problem like that. It's pretty civil, okay, and but they'll start off with maybe they have a problem and they deal with the property manager, okay, and then maybe they need to talk to Marcy, our accountant, okay. But if that's not getting settled, say, hey Joe, and I always offer, hey, would it help? Would you like me to talk to him? So and my people tell me I'm pretty good at it. So like solving problems. So I'm the problem solver, but most importantly, I'm the cheerleader.
Yeah. So that is interesting. So you basically take the growth and the well-being of your business onto your shoulders, and you say, okay, I'm responsible. That's my baby. That's what I do, and what I do with it is up to me, right? So that is quite a unique approach. Myself, I also started this company, and I was the only salesman for the first 3 years because I just enjoy that. I enjoy talking to people, discovering their problems, and seeing if we can connect the solution.
It's the funnest job, I think. I mean,
great.
It's not working; it's fun.
It's great, absolutely great. Yeah, especially over time, it becomes fun. But initially, right, you have to really make.
When you're trying to make a buck, right?
Yeah, make a buck. So, what sort of other was there any other referral sources or anything that you were able to bring into your company in terms of growth from a relationship, referral, networking?
Yeah. Well, and I'm always happy to promote your company because before we met, I did have a website, and I had a friend who was very talented in doing videos, and he's the one who came to me and said, hey, you got to do this kind of stuff. So we started off with that, and I would say I'm probably on my 4th or 5th generation website working with you, and been employing things like Yelp, which has worked very well, so
you've done really well on reviews.
Well
on reviews.
Yes.
So what have you done specifically? And like 4.5, let's put that aside.
Sure.
I appreciate the stuff, but I like what have you done? Because we didn't help you with Yelp. You did it yourself.
Yeah. So Yelp is where when Yelp first came out, Alex, I was really leery of it. I was like, oh, this is not going to be my friend. Okay. So it really depends on the attitude you want to take with it. So rather than fighting it or running away from it, I embraced it, and I tried to say, okay, you're gonna have a few knocks here, but for the most part, depending on how you want to structure it, you can make it your friend, and that's what we did, and I think that's worked real well. Another thing we've done is video blogs. Okay, putting content. I learned this a long time ago. The internet likes content, right? And as time goes on, they like video content too. So anyway, I think we have a lot of great content. We have years of content on the internet, and going to different conferences and reading different things and talking to different people, employing those things on our website. I think we have excellent search engine optimization. We've been doing it since day one. So we have an awful lot of content built up there, and that helps when people go do property management search in our area. We're always one of the top companies that pop up, and as far as Yelp too, I always check this stuff. I see what our competitors are doing, just kind of just a curiosity, like, hey, how many Yelp reviews they have? How many stars do they have? Where do they rank on Bing, Yahoo, Google, just to see where we're at. And it fluctuates. It's always different.
Right.
But But yeah, using those things have been very helpful.
The concepts of that is the same, though. Very similar as we just discussed on networking. You commit, you educate, you put your best foot forward, you prepare, and yeah, you're gonna get rewarded by the internet, right? Because nobody's really, very few people willing to do that, and even less willing to do it sort of altruistically and truly educational. People like usually promote themselves. Like, hey, if I have a video, let me just talk about my let me talk about us, me. I'm so good, and that is counterproductive.
No, I like again taking the educational approach. People, realtors, everybody out there, they're going to look at you and go like, do I trust this guy? Do I like this guy? I learned a long time ago in sales, you can know everything, but if people don't like you or don't trust you, you're not going to get much business. So it's important that you're sincere. And hey, not everybody's going to like you, but for the most part, if people like you, trust you, and if you know how to present what you are offering, you're going to get business. People are going to come back to you.
So speaking of that, Joe, specifically, how do you develop trust on the sales call? Let's say you get on a sales call. What do you do? Give us a little bit of wisdom there.
Wisdom. Okay, it's really easy. It's hilarious, really, how easy it is.
I like that.
It's like, okay, I mean, it's simple, man. Like, show up. Okay, show up on time. All right.
Okay.
There's so many people out there, and everybody has his experiences with the tree cutter guy or the painter or whoever it might be. That hey, I'll be there at 3:00, and they never show up. They don't even call. All right. So call people back. If you get a phone call, call them back. I try to call people back within the hour or definitely within the day. Okay. I am amazed how happy and surprised people are. Like, thank you. You called me back. So really important. If people are calling you, call them back. But once you've done that, if you tell people, hey, I'm going to call you at Wednesday at 1:00 in the afternoon, you better call them at 1:00 in the afternoon, okay? Or if you got a 4:00 appointment, be there at 4:00. Now, we're all busy running around, and you might have a real chatty Cathy client, and you're like, I got to go. I mean, there's been times like, I got to go, and you're late. Call the people and say, I'm sorry, I'm running behind. I'll be there 15 minutes late. It's all good. All right. So that's how you establish trust. People go, hey, he does what he says he's going to do.
That's actually pretty cool. So be on time. Be the man of your or the woman of your word.
Yeah. Just be on time. Do what you say you're going to do.
Any other tricks?
Oh boy. Well, I think okay. So establishing trust. I have a lot of people that call me on just asking questions. They said, hey, my realtor said I could talk to you. Just yesterday I was on the phone about a Section 8 question, and I don't know. I doubt I'm going to get his business. He owns one property. He sounds like he's pretty competent. He can manage it himself. But he's considering renting it to a Section 8 candidate. And he said, hey, Joe, what are the pros and cons on it? And I just told him, So I'm giving him information, not really expecting anything in return, but I think that trickles down that people go, hey, what a good guy.
Do something for nothing.
Do something for nothing.
Golden rule of reciprocation.
And if it comes back to you, wonderful. And that works too, because it has happened. So I just throw myself out there. I want to be a resource to the real estate community. Hey, if you don't know the answer, and if I do, I'm happy to talk to your client. And it just sends out this big ripple effect.
Cool. So I think that's good. Let me just mention my other sponsor here, and we'll wrap it up. PM Grow Summit. Some of you have attended it. I think a lot of you should consider attending. It's coming down in San Diego this year, and it's going to be most likely, now don't quote me on this one, I know it's going to be published, and it could change, but most likely it's going to be January 30th through February 2nd. In this awesome hotel. As soon as we sign the contract, I'll have an official announcement. Anyway, if you guys want to check out what it's all about and what the buzz is all about, go to pmgrowsummit.com and look at some videos from the past event. I mean, we had people like, Amy Harrison talked about the copywriting and conversion for property managers. We had Dee Alamang talk about the magic of marketing automation. We had Andrew Dugill talk about growing your property management business without adding doors. Now, I'm trying to get Andrew Dugill, if he's listening. Andrew, I hope you call me back. I'm trying to get him on this podcast. He's got a fascinating subject about getting profitability out of his portfolio rather than the unit counts and tons more. Go to pmgrowsummit.com. If you attended the PM Grow Summit of 2017, you get those videos for free. Joe, you've attended, so
Yes, sir.
yeah. You got the password to log in. If you don't, I'll set you up. If you don't, it's $299 one time. You get access to all 26 videos, and certainly we hope to see you at the upcoming summit in 2018. All right. Any parting words of wisdom, Joe?
Wisdom. Well, I'd like to say thank you for having me here. This is it's really great to be invited to be on your show, and I hope what we talked about is beneficial to somebody out there. If you just pick one little grain of information and you can put it to use and it helps you out, that's great.
What I'm getting out of it is you can make $1,000 to $5,000 an hour properly, really doing the right thing and networking with people. That to me, that's amazing return on investment. Anyway, guys, see you next time. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everyone.
Alex.